Hello everybody and welcome back to Casual Gamer Oz F1 2017 Career Mode Season 3 with Toro Rosso driver Ben Waterworth. My name is Ben Waterworth and we're about to get into the second round of the season here in China. A race that we've never not qualified in the top 10 on both F1 2017 and F1 2016. Best qualifying here of pole position in Season 2 of F1 2016. And we got 5th here last year on F1 2017. Let's do this. And 5th, of course, that was our equal highest ever qualifying here in F1 2017. No pole position yet for the Toro Rosso, despite getting a few poles, obviously, in F1 2016 for Sauber. And a circuit that I've actually never had a DNF in, funnily enough. And you know, as soon as I've said that, we're going to get a DNF in this race now. But the pace on this car, wow. Generally, we at least hang around with the pole sitting lap early on, but yeah, our development has dropped off so significantly on this car. We are struggling big time with the pace on this Toro Rosso. We might need to rethink our strategy in terms of is it worth the R&D department, or do we just get straight into the engine upgrades, because we are falling behind significantly. And particularly it seems our issues in terms of the races, why we get involved in so many instances, obviously with our qualifying, because we're finding ourselves so low down the grid. There's a lot more cars to fight around, so we are not in a good position here. It looks as though our top 10 streak here in Shanghai will come to an end, at least for qualifying. But hopefully we can push up the grid a little bit in the race day. We're not even going to meet our expectations when it comes to top 17 at this point. We've just snuck up into 17th place now to try and maintain that. But I mean, it's frustrating from my perspective, because obviously I'm taking this different route to the updates. But I will say, in terms of a section on the game, it's actually kind of neat to be able to have this sort of consistency with the upgrades that the other teams really do overtake you. 16th place, our lowest ever qualifying here in Shanghai. Jeff is happy with it, but you know, that's going to be frustrating for this race. The fact that once again our pace is not good. Vettel on pole for Ferrari. It's actually the same time as Hamilton, but obviously Vettel must have set that lap first. Raikkonen, Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Massa, Perez, Hulkenberg. That's your top 10. So let's see if we can improve ourselves on race day, and we'll do that now. And by now, I mean now. So yeah, we've never not finished here in China. I've just jinxed myself probably by saying that. But on our two F1 2017 races, we were 6th and 6th. We're going to make up 10 places to get up to that position now. I'm guessing they'll probably expect us to finish top 15 here. That would be my guess. But we'll at least see how that pans out. As yeah, frustrating, and only 70 development points too. Yeah, we might have to rethink where we're looking at in terms of our engine pace. I'm just going to stick with it. I want to clear that up, because it's going to make it a lot easier then in the second half of the season to upgrade. So, and particularly then if we have to get another season at Toro Rosso, then we can really build that engine power up into next year. So we're just going to stick with this short-term, painful, long-term game model, and we might obviously, when we get to another team, we might rethink. And also, you got to look at it too, is that parts often fail, and our only other engine upgrade that we did, which was, I think, Season 1, end of Season 1, and we actually failed, didn't we, the components, so we had to waste a lot of resource points getting back to where we were. We've got a dry race here in Shanghai. Alright, here we go, folks. Can we avoid some carnage, and can we get a decent finish here in Shanghai, because we need to keep some consistency going up here in Season 3. Oh, no, that's the wrong button. I don't want to... Oh, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that. Whoops. Alright, we're on the inside. That's good. 3, 4, 5. We are go in China. Once again, car not the best off the starting grid. Get a bit of a slow getaway as Alonso tries to close the door on me there. Fernando, I see what you're trying to do. Oh, and I clip a Haas. No damage to the front wing. No penalty. That's good. That's good. That's good. We're going to creep around there. The Force India, that better not be Ocon. That's Perez. Thank you, Jeffrey. Jeffrey just told me how with a strong start, and I got worried there that was our crash buddy, Ocon. It wasn't. It was Perez. Oh, I fought myself off the track there. Haven't taken a position, but I've got a Renault on the outside of me there. Oh, geez, that's lucky. I risked it there to go around the inside. Oh, I just got him there. I think he's still on the inside of me, the outside of me there, wrong side. Well, I've cut back without break myself. He's going to take that position, as will Perez. Well, good racing. And luckily, a bit of a sigh of relief there because I thought I was going to damage a front wing, but luckily we didn't. And we find ourselves just trailing behind these two, but I feel they're going to drive away from us coming down this straight. We might just put ourselves up into rich mode, just coming down this back straight here, just to give ourselves a bit of a run at these two, because if we can get ahead of these two, we might get a bit of a defensive mindset for the rest of the race. We'll whack it down to standard revs as we come into the hairpin. Just again trailing behind these two ever so slightly, which is good. Might give us a run into turn one. Hamilton has taken the lead meanwhile. That's not good for what we want in the long term here. They only want us to finish in the top 17. So we're currently very much ahead of that, but we're just off the points here at the moment in Shanghai. So we're happy with that. Obviously, we'd like to get ahead of these two here, and we might have a bit of a look-see. Not at this corner, because we're just going to hover it back. But coming up into this next section is generally where we can get a run on cars. We'll put it up into rich mode again. Get a bit of engine speed as we move our way up here, but we're not going to have enough pace to actually get into an overtaking position. We'll whack it back down to standard. As we go along this sweeping left-hander, which never seems to end until all of a sudden you get this kink and you go, whoa, we're going the other direction here. I really do like this Shanghai circuit. It actually is a lot of fun. Oh, I'm going to try and get one up the inside of Perez. I'm going to hold on to it ever so slightly. That's how you do it. An aggressive move to take 10th place. And it's what we're going to do on race day. We're going to struggle in the qualifying, but we get some good races up our sleeves, get aggressive, get some good starts, finish higher up to where we're expected, and then that way we can find ourselves getting more R&D points. Alright, we'll put it back up into rich mode. Maybe this is a bit of a strategy that we can do, and Perez has fallen way back. And we whack it back down to standard, just so we don't waste the fuel. And we want to try and at least get ourselves into a DRS capability here with Hulkenberg. So again, rich mode it up. DRS is now enabled. Alright, thank you Jeffrey, appreciate it my friend. This is generally the corner that I've stuffed up the most in all of our races here on Casual Gamer Oz. We're just keeping pace here with the Renault. Honestly thought he'd be driving away from us a little bit more at this point, but currently we're just within reach of him. Not within DRS range, I feel, just yet. We're 1.7 behind Hulkenberg. So I do not think we're going to be able to get DRS in that long back straight, which is going to be obviously disappointing. But as long as we can maybe bridge a little bit onto him. Oh, we're getting closer here. We're getting a lot closer. Getting a lot closer. I'm going to push myself wide there. Switch it up to rich mode just a little bit. We just need to get within a second, and we have not. 1.6. That is not what we want. We want to get in a little bit closer than that, but we're not going to have DRS down the back straight. Not particularly if I push myself wide there like that. So I've got a bit of a gap on Perez since we overtook him. We'll keep it in rich mode just a little bit longer here. I think we'll just keep it in rich mode until we get to the main straight, and then we'll just resign ourselves to standard mode, because we don't want to run out of fuel. That will be disastrous. Alrighty, how's it looking coming here? Last corner, keep it on the circuit. We do. Just got him in sight. Okay, standard modes, we'll keep it that way unless we get to the last lap. 2.2 seconds, so Hulkenberg actually takes some time out of us that time around. So I think for now, unless something unusual happens, Hulkenberg is going to be locked into 9th. But without jinxing this, Never not finished in the points here in China on F1 2017. It was a different story in F1 2016. But right now, we're holding on to one solitary point. Having said that, though, it looks as though Perez is closing in on us. And I think we're going to switch focus to defense rather than offense, because we're not going to catch Grosjean at this point. Excuse me, Hulkenberg. Again, barring anything unusual happening in front. And that's again the frustrating thing, that it was kind of promised F1 2017 would have more engine failures, more incidents between the cars, and as I keep saying, I'm sure it happens in the longer distance races, but it's just the shortened races, it seems like the simulation just isn't there. I mean, even with things like engine wear and gearbox wear and things like that, like it really doesn't affect. I mean, last season I basically did not change the engines around. I didn't give myself any new engines when I qualified last. So maybe I might do that a little bit more this time around, have some new power engines when it comes into the power circuits a little bit later on, particularly if we're finally going to be able to catch up on our development there. Anyway, focus on your race here, Ben. You're in 10th place. You're about to start your last lap, and you're going to come across the line here, one lap away from your first point of the season. And considering how bad our car is at the start of this season, it's almost very much a win for us, which is a bit disappointing considering that in our first season we got podiums and we're right up there in the pointy end for a lot of our battles. But again, I'm going to say it once again, small-term pain for long-term gain. Just got to hold off Perez here. Final lap, we can hold him off. 1 point is ours. We're well ahead of our target of 17th. So it'll be 2 races in a row, and I can see a few drops of rain coming on now here. This is going to make it interesting. Hopefully it won't dampen the circuit quickly, because we don't want to make any errant mistakes. But drops of rain falling here at Shanghai on the final lap should be enough to get us home without any form of issues. So we're nearly through this final lap. Get around this last corner, this sweeping right-hander into the back straight. We should be fine. Not really noticing any difference in the grip, he says as he struggles around this corner. How's our fuel? Okay, we're going to whack this into Rich just to try and out-drag Perez, because he is getting racy. He's going to race. I'm going to put it straight on the inside here, so he's going to have to go around the outside of me. I'm not going to do anything stupid. Raikkonen's won the race. Back-to-back victories for Kimi. Just going to keep this now in Rich mode as we hold on to it, coming out of the hairpin. It's what we want. If we can make it through this last corner unscathed, which we do. Oh, Grosjean's going to get Perez on the line there. Oh, it's a battle between those two. We're going to get a point.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm quite satisfied with that one too. Oh, okay. So we've had good race there in China. That should give us a bit of a boost in the reputation. Should also give us a bit of boost in the R&D points. Kimi Raikkonen's also won the Grand Prix, which is good. There he is. We're just going to have a look at the replay first before we go over the results, just to see how I managed to find my way up through into a points finishing position here in Shanghai. I've got a fairly okay start off the line. It's a slow moving car, obviously. It's a great shot, isn't it? Whoa, that looks awesome. As I make my way through there, clip the Haas. Again, surprised I didn't get any damage or penalty there. Wheel to wheel with Perez. Force myself wide. Clip into him. Assume it's Ocon at that point. Ocon's behind, you can see there. So that was lucky for me. And I'm going to dive up through here and nearly get Hulkenberg as well. And I initially do get Hulkenberg, but then he's a good guy to race in this game, Nico Hulkenberg. He's enjoyable. So I duck through the inside there. Hold my own side by side with him. Great racing. Great racing again there. He just would not give up. Similar to Abu Dhabi last season. Get ahead, but then run myself wide. Would have been a different story if I maybe held on to that. So Raikkonen wins from Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel third, Bottas, Massa, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and myself. We got some points. So Raikkonen leading this championship now by 17 points, equal over Vettel and Hamilton, Bottas, Ricciardo, Massa, Verstappen, Perez, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and we hover just outside the top 10. Constructors, well, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams move up into 4th, Force India, Renault, Haas, and we get our first points of the season, meeting Sauber and McLaren, the dynamic duo down the bottom, yet to score any points. We are off to Bahrain next, and as always, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We appreciate all your feedback and all your support here on Casual Gamer Oz, and we look forward to joining you in Sakia. Good night.